Today's scripture passage comes from Luke's Gospel, the 12th chapter. And in this scriptural passage, Christ is speaking, scripture tells us, to the disciples. Now, the disciples are more than just the apostles. It is those, that group of people who are following him and listening to his teachings. And he shares with them that when the master comes from a wedding, and I love that idea of the wedding because it tells us that he's returning from the completion of this combining of souls. This wedding feast, as has often been rendered as when Christ comes and God comes in the last times, it will be this kind of a wedding, this gathering together of where two becomes one and we become one with God. So when he comes from this wedding feast to gather us together, that we must be prepared. We must gird our loins, whatever that means, but gird our loins, be prepared to serve the Lord because we have become one with the Lord. And at that same time, God begins to serve us. But the key is we have to be ready. We have to make certain that we're ready when he comes. We have to be prepared. And how do we prepare? Well, of course, we learn to love everybody. Our preparation for the coming of God is the moment, the day that we begin to deeply and profoundly love one another, that there is no other. Because see, in the world of God, there is no other. There just is all of his children. There are no foreigners. There's no less than. We're all one. This is a time we need to embrace that idea that we are all one. Every single person is a child of God. And the way that we prepare for the coming of the Lord is to recognize that we are all one. We don't know when God is coming. He might come in the 12th hour. He may come in the first hour. He may come in the second hour. We don't know. And in fact, Christ doesn't know because scripture tells us when he was asked, when will the end times come? He said, only one who knows is the Lord, is his Father. So we don't know when that is. So what we do is to recognize that this is our time of preparation. We are always preparing. There is no downtime. There is no moment of not being in love with God and how we live our lives. And in fact, I would tell you, the preparation is the best part of being a loving Catholic Christian. The best part is the loving, the preparing, the sharing, the caring. When we look upon one another as a child of God, it makes everything absolutely wonderful. That is our preparation. Now, I want you to consider that. Consider that every single human being is a child of God. Every single human being is a child of God. When we consider that, we begin to recognize that they might have flaws, and we all do, but nonetheless, they're a child of God. We are not to judge whether or not how they live will render them going to hell or not, because that's what judgment means. But we can't make decisions on how we are to live our life in a way that exhibits the love of God. And that is not denigrating any human being, not making anyone in a dehumanized way, that they are less than human. When will we finally understand that the key to inhumanity is to act like everyone is a part of humanity? When will we finally learn that if we were to love the children of our enemies, soon we wouldn't have any enemies? When will we learn that God is love? That's how we are to live our lives. And when we do that, it is so easy to wake up in the morning and truly believe that when you say, Lord, what are we going to do today? He'll answer.